What's going on, you guys? Slim here with a new video today and a new segment here on the channel that we're going to try. As you guys saw by the title, it's literally called Let's Test, and the deck, of course, is MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit that notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload. And yeah, this is a new series, you guys. I actually got inspiration from two different content creators. I got inspiration from MBT Yu-Gi-Oh! As well as Winter Kills. I think they're both really good channels. Be sure to check them out. I have their links down below. I wanted to give them both credit because while I didn't take their exact idea, I took a combination of what they've been doing on their channel and I wanted to apply it to a different kind of format here on Dueling Book with you guys. Basically, what they do is they will test decks on YGO Pro for, like, you know, it could be for as long as 30 minutes to an hour, just testing the deck out, or Winter Kills does test hands and whatnot with in real life decks and whatnot. And I really like that concept. What I wanted to do is kind of shrink it down to just doing like a 10-minute test segment of just hands here on Dueling Book, doing like half the video of going first hands, going second hands, etc., depending on the deck, and then just kind of talking through my plays. I noticed that you guys have mentioned this to me over the months, that what's really missing from deck profiles is kind of explaining, you know, what you do with certain hand situations, because let's face it, not every hand is going to be ideal. You're not going to draw amazing every single time. So this is something that I want to try on the channel. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Like I said, this is new here and I do want this to continue. It's rare that I'll ask videos to get likes, but I would actually like to see this video get 100 likes, and if it does, I will continue this series with pretty much any deck you guys want. So I really had to think if I wanted to do this in real life or on Dueling Book. So the reason why I chose to do Dueling Book is because it's completely automated, completely random. While I could shuffle my deck, you know, in an 8 pile, 7 pile, whatever kind of pile, I'd rather just have the computer completely just simulate the deck for me. That way, you guys can just see it at completely random. You guys will see some stupid hands, some broken hands, some awful hands, and we'll just take it from there. But this video is gonna be a little longer than, you know, the initial 10 minutes, but this is just because I wanted to give a little intro to this series, and hopefully it does continue. And if not, I mean, we tried it out. But I'm starting with MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked. You guys have seen the deck profile. You guys have seemed to enjoy it. There's a very simple build, very standard build. I have it right in front of you for those of you that haven't seen the deck profile. Of course, there's no side deck because I don't really provide side decks unless I'm actually playing the deck competitively, and side decks always change, so that's why we decided to change it. But here's the main deck. It's 42 cards, 15 card extra deck. You guys already know the basics behind it. What we're gonna do now, so for this series, this will be very familiar to you guys after a while. If you guys don't go on Dueling Book that much, they do have something called solo mode, and solo mode is awesome because you literally can just play yourself, and I love it. So we're gonna get in here and I'm gonna, you know, get rolling with this, and we're gonna start with our cards, and we're going to do the first couple minutes. We're going to do of course what you do going second, and I'm going to talk you through every possible play. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so obviously MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked is a going second deck. You ideally want to go second, and we're going to talk about the situations where you don't. So okay, we're going second. You can look at our hand. We opened a very, very nice hand, actually. So we have Gamma, we've got Ash, we've got Crow, Lightning Storm, and Magical Meltdown. So the way I look at a hand like this is, okay, I got 3 forms of interruption. If that, you know, gets through, stops my opponent, I'll be able to go off on my turn. If, you know, they're playing a back row deck, I have a way to disrupt them. So I look at kind of the order of operations when it comes to these hand traps, and you have to think about what you're playing against. So you look at the meta and you say, okay, what is the most impactful hand trap? What's the best one to hold for last? And the way I look at it, like, is that I can Ash first, followed by Crow, followed by Gamma. And I say that because I feel Ash is the most generic. Ash will, you know, they can just start with a very blunt play of, like, say a terraforming, or say I'm playing against heroes and say they're going Fusion Destiny, or say they're doing something like that. And I can literally just start with this, and I can literally just start with Ash. Okay, so, you know, as a 1-for-1 exchange, might have been better than that. It could have caught a 1-for-1. It could have caught anything depending on the deck. The way I look at it is, okay, obviously Ash is going to be the most generic card I can play, going second against my opponent's first opening plays compared to Crow and compared to Gamma, because unless they're starting with a monster effect, I have the option to do just that. So in these situations where the opponent would say normal summon a monster that has an effect that could be ashable, it might actually be better to Gamma it. And the reason I say that is because if the opponent uses their normal summon is pretty important. Most decks do not have a way to get more than 1 normal summon. So in that situation, I would actually not Ash. So say my opponent starts with just a normal summon effect that would actually be impactful. I would at that point decide to Gamma it, because I look at it like, okay, if I Gamma it, that way, you know, not only does it negate it, it also destroys it. It does another thing for me as well, which a lot of people forget, is that what Gamma does is it lets me go into my deck, get the driver, which is basically basically the vanilla out of my deck, get it out of my deck, gives my deck a fresh shuffle, and then my opponent has already lost a card. I've lost no cards. I've got the Gamma in play, and this is a line of defense. Even though they can't really attack me, this is a line of defense, and just say, okay, you know, what's your next play? If I've taken away your normal summon, what's your next play? Okay, if they have another play for whatever reason, you know, then we can Ash, which I think is great. In addition to everything else, we can Ash. And if need be, if we're playing against a deck that just keeps going and going and going, we still have the Crow. Now we've done all that. The opponent should really just have like nothing at that point. Like if they do, then their deck's just insane. And I mean, sometimes it is. And you know, it'll pass back to our turn. Our deck has been freshly shuffled to now we draw a card. Okay, so look at it like this. Okay, if I Gamma'd, I feel I got the monster off the board. If I didn't get the monster off the board, I can still create a column. At any point here, if my opponent has any kind of monster here in any of these 5 zones, all I have to do, since I drew a MEKK-KNIGHT, is set it to the same zone. So say it's here, special purple, and then I can start doing things. So in this situation, I would always start with the MEKK-KNIGHTs. I've said with MEKK-KNIGHTs, you should always go basically up the stream of the colors. So I always start with purple. I always banish purple. With purple, I always get blue. And with blue, I always go to indigo, or depending on how many, you know, cards there are, I do more than that, but I usually go purple, then I go blue, then I go indigo. I was actually glad this hand was pretty universal so that I could actually just show you guys like how I do things, because I feel like this is just the simplest way for you guys to understand kind of like the inside thinking when it comes to a deck like MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked. You just go up the color scheme. So our purple will be coming back. We then have the ability to activate Meltdown. Meltdown will get us our Alistair, and hopefully everything just resolves. Now, of course, you're going to have those situations where maybe it just won't resolve. Maybe, you know, maybe the opponent has a hand trap for it or something, but you still have to run every possible option. So I'm pretty sure we've baited an Ash or something with either purple or blue. If not, you know, if everything resolves, you know, we just do our Alistair, we get our Invocation, we get everything to hand, and we just get things rolling. So at this point here, you know, depending on the situation, I've showed you guys this play multiple times, where you just basically go to the cross sheet play. You go to the cross sheet play, do the cross sheet play, and you know, that's pretty much all she wrote. I'm not gonna go through the whole play. I'm just gonna show you guys like basically how this ends. So basically you go cross sheep, so you bring cross sheep out. With cross sheep, you then special the MEKK-KNIGHT, so you can just put cross sheep. I'll put cross sheep here. It specials indigo, because we've created a column even with or without our opponent's card. We then are able to use Invocation. The beauty of this is that Invocation will banish the Alistair and the blue. It will also trigger cross sheep to bring back another monster. We then make MEKK-KNIGHT, and then we literally link all of them into Boral Sword, and we Boral Sword OTK our opponent. So that is the first hand. We're going to reset the deck. So this is another cool option. You can completely reset the deck and draw a brand new hand. So we're going to do another going second hand. Of course, MEKK-KNIGHT Invoke, so you want to go second. Pretty much the same thing. You want to use your hand traps. Most universal hand trap is Ash, so Ash should be the first card we'd play, because it's probably, there's 9 times out of 10 there's something to Ash on your opponent's first turn. There usually is. There's no way around it. There usually is. So I would just Ash that. Okay, if need be, I can follow it up with a Crow if I have to. And okay, we've done all that, and then it's back to our turn. Depending on the situation, we can do certain things. So while Gamma is very nice, you have to kind of weigh the odds. If you were to Desires first and banish the driver, your Gamma's dead. What you can do, though, is set the Desires and special a MEKK-KNIGHT. Depending on if it resolves, you can continue with your plays. This may not be the strongest hand, but it can do a lot of things. MEKK-KNIGHTs can do a lot of things. We can special blue, get indigo. We can play Desires at that point, just try to get through our plays and see what we have. I don't really need to play out this hand for you guys, because you guys kind of see it's a very simple hand. We had 2 forms of interruption. We then summon our MEKK-KNIGHTs. We try to get things rolling. If they get rolling, depending on what we draw in the Desires, it'll change our whole hand. But that's basically what you do with those hands. I'm going to do one more. And these are all, of course, going second hands. Then I'm going to talk about the going first hands, because you're not always guaranteed to have those amazing going second hands. You're not always guaranteed to go second. So this hand, okay, I know what you guys are thinking. Crap, that hand kind of sucks. I don't have any form of interruption. Yes and no. It depends on the situation. So if the opponent is a back row deck, we got him. We literally have an evenly matched and a lightning storm. So we have our options there. After that, you can just summon purple. You can magical meltdown, get Alistair. You got a lot of plays. There's a lot of plays with his hand going second. You have 2 board breaking cards. Don't forget, this is a Raigeki. Don't forget that this can just wipe the whole board, leave a single card, and then you can just set up your board with MEKK-KNIGHTs. So that's going to be for the going second. I'm going to just do a first, hopefully going first hand. So, okay, I'm going to tell you guys the funny thing about this deck. This deck never wants to go first, but once your opponent knows you are playing MEKK-KNIGHT Invoked, I guarantee they're going to make you go first. So what do you do in these situations? Well, it's as simple as this. Since your opponent will not really have any cards in play, blue is not the right play at all. Desires is interesting because we drew Invocation. So here's the thing. This is a very interesting hand, to tell you the truth. I feel that the best play at this point would be to normal summon the Alistair. So this is the first thing I would do. They're making me go first. I'm be like, that's fine. And I'll tell you right now, Johnny and I can attest to this. At the UDS, at the YCS, once people knew we were playing, they made us go first all the time. And you know what? We said, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If they knew what we were playing, which a lot of people did because we're pretty open about what we play, we would just, they'd make us go first and be like, hey, you know what we're playing? Fine, that's fine. But you can still make a play going first. So for those of you that don't know it by now, thanks to Almirage, you're able to make a going first play. You turn the Almirage into the Secure Gardener, getting rid of the Almirage. You then have your Invocation play. So if this was purple, we could set blue, special purple, do things. But here you just literally do this. You banish this. You banish the Alistair. You summon your Macabre. So I like to summon Macabre in defense mode. The reason why I do that is because if the opponent has Lightning Storm, and if they really so of course we're gonna add back our Invocation. Let me just do that real quick. So top of deck, add back Alistair. We'll shuffle the deck, add this to hand, shuffle the deck. Okay, shuffle the deck. You just don't want to lose to Lightning Storm. So that's what it is. And then at this point, you don't have to do anything else unless you want to. You could desire. So that was the mistake I did make, is I should have left the Invocation in the graveyard and then activated the desires. But either way, you can see that's what we're supposed to do. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, with this deck, 90% of the going first hands, that's what you're going to do. You're going to just try to go first, and you're going to try to make a turn 1 Macabre and just try to get there. Because think about it. If you make a Macabre, you can negate a monster effect, you can crow something. If they get rid of your Macabre, you have the ability to gamma something after that. So you have a lot more plays than you think. You also could summon Yellow Star, and my advice to you would be, if your Macabre is up here in defense mode and you set your Invocation, special Yellow Star in defense. It has 2800 defense. That's huge. And then your opponent is staring down a Macabre in defense, a Yellow Star in defense, and they need to get past that. Plus you also have a Crow. So you have a follow-up with Alistair again. So you have a lot more plays than you think in this deck when you're going first. But that's a very, very simple first episode. Hopefully this video was informative to you guys. I'm trying to get the testing just down to maybe 10 minutes of hands. Maybe I need to extend it, but that's what you guys can do. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, like I said, give the video a like. This is just something that I felt that should be brought to the community. It's something that more channels should do, and I think channels that like MBT and Winter Kills, I think they really are smart for doing videos similar to this, even though they do it in a different way. This is something that will help players of any caliber understand, why we make the plays we do, and why in a going second deck you have options going first and obviously going second, and it just really depends. You need to get into the mind of the players who play these decks a lot, and it will teach you a lot, and I think that this is something that we can all benefit from. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, let's get this video to 100 likes and we will continue this series. The next deck I would like to do is possibly Grand Maju, possibly Guru, possibly something else. I might just start holding polls in the community tab, and you guys decide the deck. You guys decide the deck. We build it on stream and we test it out here on Dueling Book in solo mode as part of the series, and we just keep it going. I think that this could be a long-running series, and hopefully, like I said, you guys do enjoy it. If you don't, then that's fair. I just thought that it would be a really cool idea, and it could be something that we could definitely test in the future. But anyways, you guys, I know this video is going to be the longest of probably the whole series, but it's just to give you guys an introductory to let's test this deck. insert the deck, and we just go to town. But yeah, this is my thought process when it comes to playing MEKK-KNIGHT Invoke, going second and going first. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Anything you would like to suggest, any deck you would like to suggest, leave it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to visit your comments, reply, and include it next time in this series. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.